It's a beautiful day for some DSA and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. My name is Cozy Gamer, and for today's video, we've got an updated ultimate farming guide. And it has been 2 months since we've done the last farming guide, and I didn't think I'd need to make one so quickly, but so much has changed. We've seen a plethora of new characters come to DSA, and so who you decide to go after, who you decide to farm early is very important so that you make sure you use your resources in the best way possible. And for being free to play, you don't want to waste these precious resources. On today's video, we're going to talk about exactly what characters to purchase from what shops and exactly who to farm from every single campaign, club exchange, tournament exchange, you name it. I'm going to tell you the exact order you're going to want to go for with a little bit of a twist. Now tell me this, do you guys remember those books, the Choose Your Own Adventure books? Well, today's video is going to be a little bit like that. We're going to have our core team to go after on phase 1, but phase 2 is going to be a Choose Your Own Adventure. I feel like every single time I played those games, I ended up just cheating because if I died, I'd just go back. There's no going back though in Disney Sorcerer's Arena, so you want to be careful what phase you go after. I'm leaving it up to you guys on what team you want to go for, and then you'll pick that. We'll look at each phase 2 separately, and then we'll move on to the in-game content. Quick note before we start, if you want to be up to all the latest videos, guides, tips, and tricks in DSA, hit that subscribe button below. Or if you want to come ask me a question while I am live on Twitch, I try to get to as many people as I can, and I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. I will see you there, and let's jump on over to phase 1. All right, now let's remember some key basics with this farming guide. I'm going to go ahead and recommend to get this first phase. We're going to be focusing on just getting these heroes unlocked, somewhat of a base core. I recommend going for around 5-star, T4 or 5 for gear. And this is aimed for more level 1 through level 35. Okay, we're going to be trying to get to about past Tower 3 with this first setup. This is going to be the setup that you want, and it's the best and the most advantageous setup when starting Disney Sorcerer's Arena, as they give you a lot of these characters. It's a quick way to a very powerful team to get more and more gems in the Sorcerer's Tournament and do well overall in the entire game. So you want to do your best focusing on one team when you're going through all these different shops and campaign modes when you're farming these characters. However, I do want to say we'll be farming some other characters that don't fit the kingdom mold or some other molds you might see in the other phases, mainly because you want to be working on multiple projects at once in these type of collection games. All right, so our target team here in phase 1 will be targeting a team of Shan Yu, Aladdin, Jasmine, Sorcerer, Mickey, and Anna. Or you can have Sorcerer Mickey be Captain Jack Sparrow, or kind of flex that spot if you wish. We're gonna be focusing on the Tower of Endurance, making sure we get you guys through that game mode completely. We'll be focused on getting you a strong Sorcerer Tournament team to start out the gate and set you up for success for events that will be coming down the road. So as you guys know, when you begin the game, you're given Sorcerer, Mickey, and Aladdin. And so you want to go ahead and capitalize off these characters. And the good news is we're going to be focusing the Kingdom team that, if you so choose, will last you from the early game all the way to the end and late game. Now we're going to start with the tournament exchange, starting with Shan Yu. You guys know we talk about Shan Yu all the time. Go check out the top free-to-play characters guide that we just put out if you want to know about what they do better. However, Shan Yu is just an absolute monster within DSA. Great lead, obvious choice for the first character in the tournament exchange you want to go for, while simultaneously you also want to focus Anna. Now, Anna is the best support in the game and a top 3 character within DSA. You can't go wrong with putting her in your Kingdom team. She does so many things well for your Kingdom team, so she's definitely going to be your other choice when farming these characters. Again, my recommendation is that you can do one of 2 things. You can either unlock both of them so you have a base squad to work with, or go ahead, unlock Shan Yu, gear him up, and get him to about star level 5, and then start working on Anna. I can see it both ways. If you want to have a full Kingdom team to start and get the ball rolling, feel free to unlock them both and then kind of spread out your equal farming until they're both 5-star around T4, T5, and then we're going to hop on over to the club exchange. Now, you guys know Captain Jack Sparrow is going to be super advantageous for the Tower of Endurance game modes, and also with Oceanics rising to not only the meta, but importance in DSA, we want to make sure we give our time to the Oceanic faction. You'll be seeing on this guide today that I recommend going after Oceanics a lot, and mainly that is because of a few things. First of all, Oceanics are a very strong faction that are only going to keep on being built on. Second of all, we can go ahead and suspect and just say confidently that they're going to be needed for the Speed Sorcerer trials, and so obviously Speed Stones is everything within DSA, but we'll get to that later. And third, you're going to be using these Oceanic characters within the Tower of Endurance, so they're a solid choice to go for. It's something you can't ignore, and that's why we're putting them in the core phase 1. Now, once you've used your club exchange tokens to get Captain Jack Sparrow to around star level 4 or 5, you have a couple of options, and I want to give them to you. First of all, you can build up on your Sorcerer Mickey for that last spot on your Kingdom team. Continue to build up his power. He's a great controlled damage character. His damage is a little lackluster early on, but if you don't want to go this route, feel free to keep dumping your club currency into the gear in the shop. This is a great free-to-play place to get gear in DSA. So if you don't want to go Sorcerer Mickey, go Captain Jack Sparrow and farm some gear. But I recommend putting those early coins in the club exchange on character. Next up, let's jump to the energy you'll be using within Disney Sorcerer's Arena, and we'll look at the Heroes campaign. Now, what I made sure to do in this guide, rather than the last one, is I picked characters that you're going to have access to early on. I can certainly put some of the better characters in this spot, but those nodes are going to be further away when you're in level 1 to 35. So someone who jumps out right away and is going to be super useful throughout your DSA journey is Chunk. Chunk is a downtown villain. You'll use downtown villains throughout your journey and mainly for different events and to get Zerg and other aspects of the game. But not only that, Chunk goes well with Oceanic teams or just really any other team. He's a great plug-and-play character and tank, and it'll be a nice addition to add on to your villains to get through the villain campaign. For a second character in the hero campaign, go after Kristoff. Kristoff is someone you want to start targeting, especially when we go to the Choose Your Own Adventure portion of this guide. If you do decide to go the frozen route, you'll want to start getting Kristoff now. Again, if you get to that chapter and you want to change some of these characters up to give you a leg up on getting your team early for phase 2, absolutely feel free to, but Kristoff will be a nice slow grind. Yes, you can get him from the club exchange, but I recommend putting that towards Captain Jack Sparrow and Sorcerer Mickey. Now, you can see what we're starting to do here. We're starting to get and pull from different factions because you'll need them in different areas of the game. You're going to want Wilds for Tower 4. You're going to want downtown villains for these different events. And so we want to try to mix as many factions as possible with also concentrating on the correct team that you're currently farming. Looking at the villains campaign, you're going to want to double farm Jasmine. I wish when I was starting out, Jasmine was as good as she was. She's an incredible early starting tank. You can double farm her, and I recommend you just strictly going for Jasmine on the beginning of your journey. For the last field, we have the Grand campaign, and this is actually one of the more difficult ones to pick who to farm because there's so many choices and your energy limits are so low. Throughout all the phases, it was difficult to select who exactly to go for, but for the starting phase 1, Aladdin is going to be the obvious answer. Build up on one of the best characters within Disney Sorcerer's Arena very early on, and then go and get Ariel. Now, Ariel is going to puzzle some as she's not used in-game, I'm going to be honest, but she's absolutely essential and very important in the early and mid-game phases. She's great for tower, she's great for healing overall and keeping up the support on your team. Also, it's great that you can use her as an Oceanic to unlock Moana and some of the characters later down the line. Ariel's going to be a great first spot. I picked her over Captain Hook for the second Oceanic character, as I just think you're going to get more out of Ariel in the long run. And for Captain Hook, until you get to the end or later games, you're not going to be using him too much, so don't worry about him. Focus on Jack and Ariel for your Oceanics, and then you've got the rest of them here. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention that I did not put here is in the Tower of Endurance shop. Make sure you listen and focus to this if you're newer to the game. Hold on to your currency until you beat Tower 3. Stock up that currency as much as possible. and you're going to want to open those random spell packs. Now, the further you get through the Tower of Endurance, the more spells that are going to go in those spell packs. So just hoard onto them. After you beat Tower 3, you get access to Peter Pan Shadow and Golden Hammer, and those are the spells that you're going to want to try and aim for. So hoard that until you get past Tower 3. With this group and core group here, you should be able to work your way through it. Tower 2 might present a little bit of a challenge because you do need downtown heroes. You should get some downtown characters along the way. Feel free to go out of your way and get Buzz and Syndrome for Tower 2, as they both help out very much and can be used in different aspects of the game as well. All right, Cozy Club, so I spoke about this earlier on. We're at the choose your own adventure portion of this farming guide. You're gonna have 3 different choices from here, guys. You can continue on the kingdom path with the progress that you've already made, which is a very safe, very reliable bet. If you'd like the kingdom faction, go down that road. We'll hop to that in a second. You can choose the oceanic factions that are rising up the metas. Oceanics you'll never regret going for, as they're used in so many aspects of the game. That's path number 2. And path number 3 is, as of this video in August, my least suggested path, mainly because we're getting Frozen right now dropping into the game, so it could be some time until Frozen comes back around to get Elsa. Luckily for most of you guys, you watched my first farming video, and I did suggest to go after Frozen back then in phase 2. But now, unless you're a hardcore Frozen fan, I would wait on Frozen, but I wanted to put the option there just in case, or just to prep up for the next time that Elsa comes back. Now, in each phase, you're gonna have your essential core characters that we're working towards trying to earn. Whether you want to call them legendary characters or just essential characters for each faction, you're not going to get the most out of these factions and on your team unless you have these essential characters. You're going to be noticing that these are the characters that are usually in the S or A+ rankings in my tier guide. If you haven't, you can check out the tier guide up in the top right corner there. These are going to be characters that you have to make your team the best that it can possibly be. Now let's hop into phase 2 of the choose your own adventure. And that's going to be my personal favorite, the oceanic route. Now, looking at phase 2, if you chose to go after the oceanic teams that right now are currently dominating the meta, both oceanic, again, and kingdom are safe bets, as they're going to be factions that keep being built into. Now, you notice tech is not an option. We'll get to tech later on in the video. Let's focus on these oceanics, starting with the tournament exchange. Now, our goal with this phase is to get these essential characters for the oceanic faction: Stitch, Moana, and Maui. And for most of them, you're just gonna need oceanic characters at a certain tier or star level to unlock. For Moana, then you'll need Moana plus those heroes. For Maui and for Stitch, you will need mythical characters. So let's jump in and look at the tournament exchange. So the tournament exchange, you're going to want to go for Hades. Now, Hades is a lot better later down the line, but he's a great, safe, mythical character to help you get Stitch, to help you in Tower 5. It's going to help you in multiple areas of the game, and he's a great plug-and-play character to begin with. So Hades is going to be your focus from the tournament exchange. If you're done with him, you can do one of 2 things. You can focus on Anna and finish her up, but I recommend going for Madam Mim. Get another mythical under your belt so that you can get Stitch Tower the next time it's around. For the club exchange, keep on grinding out that Captain Jack Sparrow. You want to max him out and get him as high a level as possible for your new oceanic team. Also, I would be going after gear at this point. Start stockpiling that gear up to level up your characters. Now, you could argue to go for Captain Hook or some of the other characters, but we want to be the most efficient as possible with our farming. So I would go after gear here after Captain Jack Sparrow to make sure that you start your journey to maxing out your arena team. Now, for the heroes campaign, I picked a hero that's going to be great for the downtown faction in general, but also a hero that can fit with any squad you throw at it and just functions very well in DSA. And that's going to be Barley. You can get Barley from the Heroes Campaign, Cozy Club. Very solid hero. I'm using him even with my maxed out oceanic team. Overall, it's a great choice, a great hero. If you've got extra energy, put that into Barley. Now, in every phase, you're going to see Captain Gantu listed. He's absolutely incredible. In fact, if you just had Captain Gantu and a bunch of low-level characters, he could probably carry most of your battles. Captain Gantu is going to be very important within the Towers of Endurance and as a core staple in oceanic teams. So there's a couple teams that you can go for in the oceanic faction. One's going to be Maui, Moana, Stitch, Captain Gantu, and Cobra Bubbles. You can throw in Hero and mix them in there. Or getting Chunk earlier, you can build the Oceanic Wall team. I made a small video on my Fast Pass about this team. Very solid. Captain Gantu does the heavy lifting for this team. Can take out Frozen Kingdom, a lot of different teams. So you can use Chunk, Bubbles, and Gantu. Hades, you can keep on grinding him from both the shops here so you can get him as quickly as possible. And then lastly, from the Grand Campaign, we're going to put all of our energy and all of our focus on Cobra Bubbles. Now, both Cobra and Gantu, feel free to do as many refreshes as you need to, as these are both staple and important characters for Stitch in the Oceanic faction. Now, after you've gotten Bubbles to most likely maxed out or almost maxed out, I would suggest farming any of the characters below the 4 here. You can go with Olaf and Sven. That's going to help you in the other phases to unlock Frozen down the line. Even though they're not your main focus, this is nice to kind of get this back project going. Or go for Dr. Facilier and Ian, both great downtown heroes, and Ian is going to be great when paired with Barley for an amazing duo, so you can't go wrong with any of that here. Now, the good news outside of Captain Gantu of the Oceanic faction is they're all heroes and in the hero category, so that's going to help you unlock Hero Hamada, the best character in the game currently. We're going to project that Big Hero 6 is coming sometime down the road. We know that that's built in, so getting Hero is absolutely essential, and you'll be checking the requirements off for that box off anyway, just by getting these Oceanic characters. Now, if Oceanic is not what you're going for, you can pick the Choose Your Own Adventure and go for Frozen. They're also very solid as a team. They do need Elsa to work the best that they can, and with the Frozen characters just coming back, I do recommend waiting just a little bit on them. However, let's take a look. We're going to go through them a little quicker than the other ones. You're going to be getting Anna and Hades from the tournament exchange. Hades, again, great mythical character. Finish up your farming on Anna that you did on the previous wave. She's going to be great in both Kingdom and Frozen teams. Now, Kristoff needs to be your main focus from the club exchange. Unlock him as quickly as possible. Club exchange tokens come quite quickly and quite often, so get yourself in a good club to make sure you're getting as much of that currency as possible and get Kristoff unlocked. Now, while you're going after these Frozen characters, you can get a lot of these characters within both the Hero and Villains campaign. However, I feel like you can get them from the other places just as easy. So while we're multitasking, let's go after Dr. Facilier, the King of Towers, great for the Towers of Endurance. And also, let's go after Captain Gantu. We talked about it previously, why Captain Gantu is amazing. Start farming him as soon as possible. And then from the Grand Exchange, you want to go after Olaf and Sven. Pick whichever one you choose. I would get both to 5 stars and then to 7 to make sure you can at least get Elsa unlocked when she does come around. And then you want to kind of on the back burner, start farming Cobra Bubbles. Now, this phase 2 is from 35 to 50, so you should be making your way quite along the journey in DSA and get through the tower events and the other things coming up ahead. So out of gist, this phase is all about Frozen. Make sure you get all of your characters ready for the Elsa event and then start focusing on either the previous Oceanic chapters or the in-game content that we'll cover here in just a minute. Okay, so we've gone through the Oceanic chapter, we've gone through the Frozen chapter, and finally we have the safest option, which is just continuing on with the Kingdom chapter to phase 2. Now, something I want to point out is this is going to be the safest phase to go through, mainly because your Kingdom team is already set from phase 1, but also you'll be able to compete in live PvP in the later rankings and in your Sorcerer tournament a lot quicker. Gantu and Cobra and all these other heroes like the Frozen heroes take some time to build up, whereas this core staple team, you're already going to have unlocked and ready to go. So if you're looking to get right to the end game as quickly as possible with efficient characters around it, this is going to be the phase for you. Now, looking at the tournament exchange, you're going to want to go ahead and finish off Shan Yu and Anna, get them both to 7 stars, finish them off, and then yes, you can move on to someone like Hades or Mordu. But for now, get these two finished off to 7 stars. From the club exchange, you want to focus on Mickey. You can get Mickey both from here and also the Grand Campaign. Focus on Mickey for that last spot. He gets so much better at T7, so put your focus into Mickey. And lastly, you still want to go after Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow, again, will be needed throughout the rest of your journey. Get him for the very least for the Speedstone trials that will be coming ahead, and also to give you an advantage in the towers. Now, from the Heroes campaign, we're going to ignore that and just go straight to the villains. The villains campaign is going to be where you're pumping all of your energy for this phase. We're back to Jasmine. You're going to keep on focusing on Jasmine. Put all of your resources towards getting that Jasmine unlocked and high starred. Also, at this point, you can start pursuing Genie, which will also be located in the villains campaign. Once you have Aladdin, Genie, and Jasmine, you can then go after Jafar from the events, which is a nice side project to go for. Jafar is not the greatest character in this game, but definitely someone that's nice to have and an advantage for going for this phase. Now, lastly, again, just like the other ones, go after Captain Gantu. Throw energy his way anytime you can. He's a very long farm and you want to get started as quickly as possible. Now for the grand campaign, keep on focusing down Aladdin and Sorcerer Mickey to get them to 7-star. And then Cobra Bubbles is going to be the way to go, as Cobra can fit into any team in DSA. In fact, I would say Cobra is just an excellent fit for any team within DSA. So going for him is never a bad decision. Even just getting him unlocked is going to set you above the enemy. There's so many different kingdom characters in this game that you can build upon, and so many more coming. We've got Robin Hood and Mulan and some other plug and plays that fit very nicely here. Also, again, keep in mind with the kingdom crew, it's just like the Oceanics. You'll be able to go unlock Hero when his event does come around, the Microbot Mania. Aside from Shan Yu, these are all hero characters, and obviously Hero is someone you want to add to your squad. So you've grinded on, you've done early game, you've done mid game. We're going to be moving on to late game. Now, a couple things to look out for is, first of all, be prepared for any of these little events to come on by. We've got the Scrooge McDuck event, which gives you coins, and you're going to need downtown villains for that. You have the Rune event that's going to be coming around that you'll need the downtown heroes for that event. Just different things within DSA. So look at what you need for them. And if you need to create side projects for yourself, I'll leave that up to you. Just look exactly what faction these events need and then farm accordingly. All right, Cozy Club. So you've done phase 1. You've picked your path for phase 2. Now we've got some other options to go for the late game. We've got level 50 to 60. At this point, you should have a maxed out live PvP or arena team. You don't want to get to this phase until you've maxed out 7-starred, fully geared up your characters, and they're ready to go, either T6 or T7. Characters are great and all, but they don't mean that much if they don't have good sorcerer stones on them, because you're simply going to be outmatched by the enemy if they do have stones. So we have both the mythical trial and the wilds trial, so you can go after wild and mythical characters. If you did the oceanic route, you should already have a head start on the mythical route. So you want to look at the requirements for both these events. Start farming characters that can help you get through it and get more stones on your roster. Other things to look out for is Elastigirl. Start working on her as you have the Incredibles event come by. Right now, as of this video, the Incredibles are not farmable. Dash is an excellent character, so get a jump up and get Elastigirl kind of geared up at least to 4 or 5 stars for the event, and that will help you tremendously when the Incredibles event comes back. Another thing we've talked about already, but if you want a side project and you're at the end game and these two brothers are not on your team, Ian and Barley make a great pair to plug into any team in DSA. I recommend going after them if you're looking for more downtown heroes or just another duo to fit in your squad. Now, some other things on the bottom of the screen. We've got the tech team and we've got the downtown villains. Now, 2 notes about these 2 bad boys. First of all, the tech team, I was going to try to make a phase 4 in the choose your own adventure part, but simply all of these characters come from late nodes in the grand campaign. They're almost all in the grand campaign, and if they're not, they're in another kind of more in-game territory. If you want the tech team, which is a tremendous team, go after these characters below to get Gizmo Duck. He's going to add, he's really the biggest piece to the tech team, but go after the tech team if you so choose when you get to the end game. I don't recommend going for them early on unless somehow you get a tech pack or something like that. But for the main part, you want to focus on getting these characters slowly at end game and get Gizmo when he comes back. Now, another essential character that was not included on this farming guide, however, it was included on the last one, and that is Zerg. Now, to get Zerg, you need the downtown villains, and these cats right here are the 5 that you want to go for. We've got Big Bad Wolf, Dr. Facilier, which you should have anyway, Chunk, which you should have anyway, Syndrome, very easy character from Club Currency, and Demona. Now, you're going to have all these characters. They're going to help you get Zerg and we're going to be focusing on these legendary characters once we've gotten to in-game. And just like the last one, from this point on, it's going to be your choice what you want to do from here. We're going to keep on getting new characters in DSA so you can shift your focus and go after them once you've gotten to this spot in Phase 3. However, remember on Phase 1 and 2, make sure you keep your eyes on the prize, get those core essential characters, or else your squads are going to fall apart, especially for the Oceanic. You want Stitch, and to get Stitch, you need 2 mythicals. Very low gear, so just get the mythicals and get Stitch. And Cozy Club, that is going to do it. Hopefully, this gave you a little bit more perspective and organization with your farming, your free-to-play farming within DSA. I wanted, again, to commit this week to the free-to-play players. We luckily don't have any new characters coming to us this week, so this guide was all for you guys to make sure that you're best using your resources, your time, and your efficiency when in DSA, my friends. Again, if you liked what you saw today, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. Feel free to join the Twitch channel, the Discord. Everything is in the links below as usual. I do some great unboxing streams, so if you want to send something to the Cozy Club, I'll leave the PO box in the description below. And if you want to join the Patreon family, join our monthly video Patreon chat and join this last screen, which, by the way, thank you to these Patreons. And you can also find that in the description below. My friends, make it a beautiful day. Thank you so much for coming and stopping by the video. And until next time, stay cozy, my friends.